Have you ever wondered why the universe does not fall apart? Why atoms do not collapse? Why stars do not instantly explode? Why galaxies keep their shapes? Why life manages to stay alive? Why everything does not dissolve into noise? The universe is constantly balancing itself. Not by magic, not by luck, but through a steady flow of information spreading across space and time. Today we explore how the universe avoids collapse and chaos by sharing information in a way that keeps structure stable. Let's begin. Part 1. Everything wants to fall apart. If you leave a sandcastle alone, it crumbles. If you leave a cup of hot water alone, it cools. If you leave anything in nature alone long enough, it breaks down. This is because the universe naturally drifts toward disorder. Randomness is easy. Chaos is easy. What is hard is keeping a pattern intact. Whether it is an atom, a cell, a star, a mind, or a galaxy, each one is always fighting against collapse. So how do they survive? They must constantly move information to keep their structure from falling apart. Part 2. Stability is not stillness. When people hear the word stability, they imagine something frozen or fixed. But nothing in nature is frozen. Nothing stands still. Nothing simply is. Stability in the universe is an active process. It is constant motion, constant updating, constant communication. Think of a spinning top. It stays upright not by being still, but by moving just the right way. Atoms stay stable because electrons move. Cells stay stable because signals move. Ecosystems stay stable because nutrients move. Galaxies stay stable because stars move. Stability is motion guided by information. Part 3. The universe spreads information to prevent collapse. Whenever something in the universe risks falling apart, information spreads outward to stabilize it. A star spreads heat and light. A black hole spreads information through its horizon. A cell spreads signals to its neighbors. A brain spreads patterns across networks of neurons. A galaxy spreads energy across stars, gas, and dark matter. This movement smooths out extremes. Too much energy gathers in one place, it spreads. Too much matter bunches up, gravity redistributes it. Too much heat builds up, radiation carries it away. A chemical imbalance forms, cells send signals to correct it. Information flow is the universe's safety valve. Without this flow, everything would collapse or explode. Part 4. Why collapse happens only in special cases. Sometimes the universe does collapse things. Black holes are the clearest example. Matter falls inward. Energy becomes intense. Patterns cannot survive. So what makes black holes different? They form when information can no longer spread out fast enough. Gravity pulls inward faster than information can stabilize the shape. Once that point is crossed, collapse becomes unstoppable. But outside of those rare conditions, the universe prefers stability. Spread and balance win over collapse. Most of reality uses information flow to avoid those extreme outcomes. Part 5. The Cosmic Balancing Act. There's a delicate balance that keeps the universe in motion without tearing itself apart. Energy spreads outward through radiation. Matter spreads outward through pressure. Charge spreads outward through electric fields. Motion spreads outward through waves. Information spreads outward through every interaction. This spreading prevents runaway effects. If gravity were the only force, everything would collapse. If expansion were the only effect, everything would drift apart forever. If heat only built up, planets and stars would burn instantly. If randomness had no boundaries, life could never form. The balance between forces, energies, and information flows keeps the universe in a stable middle zone. Not too collapsed, not too chaotic, just right for complexity to emerge. Part 6. Why information spread creates order, not chaos. It sounds counterintuitive, but spreading information does not create disorder. It creates structure. Think of ripples on a pond. A disturbance spreads out in smooth circles. Think of sound. Vibrations spread through the air in predictable patterns. Think of gravity. The pull of a planet spreads out equally in all directions, creating stable orbits. This spreading is not random. It carries information about the system. A star's light carries information about its temperature and age. A molecule's vibrations carry information about its shape. A cell's signals carry information about what it needs. A galaxy's rotation carries information about dark matter. Every spread of information creates a map of structure. The more the universe spreads information, the more it reveals patterns instead of erasing them. Part 7, how this connects to PIWCWG. Now is a good moment to bring in the PIWCWG idea. PIW stands for the Persistence Information Weave. It describes how the universe tries to keep patterns alive by spreading information wherever it is needed. CWG stands for the Carroll-Wells gradient. It describes how persistence grows across layers, from small scales to large ones. So how do these ideas fit into today's topic? PIW explains why collapse is rare. The universe weaves information outward to keep patterns stable. CWG explains why stability increases as systems grow. Larger layers, like cells or galaxies, have more paths for information to flow, making collapse less likely. Together, PIWG say this: patterns do not survive by being rigid. They survive by sharing information across space and time. This is how atoms, cells, minds, and galaxies maintain their structure. It is how the universe builds complexity instead of chaos. Part 8. The universe remembers through information spread. Here's a powerful idea. When the universe spreads information, it is remembering. When light travels from a star, it remembers what the star was doing. When cells send signals, they remember their state and needs. When your brain forms a thought, it is spreading patterns that remember past experiences. When gravity shapes orbits, it remembers mass and motion. Every flow of information is a form of memory, and memory is what keeps the universe from resetting into randomness. The universe avoids collapse and chaos because it is always remembering itself. In motion. Part 9. Why this makes life possible. Life exists because the universe is excellent at balancing itself. Cells avoid collapse through constant signaling. Ecosystems avoid collapse through cycles of nutrients and energy. Brains avoid collapse through waves of synchronized firing. Planets avoid collapse through temperature balance. Galaxies avoid collapse through rotational balance and dark matter. Life did not appear in a universe on the edge of destruction. Life appeared in a universe constantly adjusting itself to stay stable enough for patterns to survive. This balance is what gave evolution, biology, intelligence, and consciousness the space they needed to grow. So the next time you look at the night sky, or feel your heartbeat, or watch a wave roll in, remember this: everything you see and everything you are exists because the universe keeps spreading information to avoid collapse and chaos. The universe is not fragile. It is flexible. It balances itself by sharing patterns across space and time. That is how it stays alive. Join us next time for episode 23, where we explore how the universe handles cycles of growth and decay, and why renewal is just as important as stability.